Okay, welcome to the team call for Wednesday. It is February 1st. What perfect timing to have Natalie on here tonight talking to us about time management. I think it's something I struggle to help people with because of the amount of sacrifice and time that I've made to make this happen, but I know that's not the case for everyone. And I'm just I don't know, I just do it. So I try to bring people on here that can help with strategy and any tips or advice for time management. But before I introduce Natalie and say all the amazing things that I love about her, I just wanted to do a couple things. So as always, does anyone have any recognition that they would like to do for today?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my new coach, Kate Lamkin and Aaron, both hit Emerald already, and they're brand new, so I'm super proud of them.
I've been seeing Kate's name pop up on the Success Club board, on the sponsorship drill down. Congrats, guys. Or I should say ladies, but I call everyone guys. Brand spanking new coaches. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. It's February 1st, obviously, and I don't know if you guys saw, but they did extend the registration deadline to today. So I'm pretty sure that we nailed everyone down as far as who's on what team, but in case you guys have any stragglers, they did extend the registration for today. So you can just post up in the team page, but I'm pretty sure everyone's taken care of. After we hop off the call, I'm gonna create a team calendar to help you guys with a strategy to make sure that you're closing out the month at Success Club. Obviously, all month long, we're always trying to hit Success Club regardless. But with the cup, and there's a lot of new leaders that are, that stepped up to the plate and they're captains this month on their team. I just wanted to help you guys with some strategy for that. But Natalie is going to be talking a lot today about time management. So I think that this kind of goes hand in hand with that. But I am going to have a calendar for you guys. One other awesome thing I literally just learned about 30 seconds ago before I hopped on the call. So you know how Beachbody came out with the first 30? We added it to our team training, the Getting Started Right. Kim Carver, the guy that was at our retreat, he actually designed the whole thing with the help of coaches. So they just added 3 steps to sharing Shakeology to it. So it hasn't rolled out yet. It should by the end of this week. I already took a look at it, but they want some feedback from the leaders first. So I think that's huge for new coaches so that, we're not just posting bags of Shakeology and we're not just posting the word vomit of Shakeology that we've all done. And guys, when I go back and look at my posts, I did it too. So don't take it personal if we're trying to help you critique anything. We all do it. We just want to make sure that you don't continue to do it. So and then 2 really funny random things that I have to share because I have a lot of people here. I don't know how many people know about the selfie timer on taking photos. I just heard 3 people in our team training say, I never knew there was a selfie timer. So please spread the word that your phone, every single phone pretty much has a selfie timer. Or you can invest in a $10 tripod and Bluetooth clicker like Candace has introduced all of us to. So if every single one of your pictures is like this, it's going to get repetitive, which is why I had you guys share your photo of all the photos you've been uploading, that really fun activity. And thanks for engaging in that, by the way. That was really awesome. And the second thing is when you guys are taking photos, use the light coming in the window. I've heard some techniques where light at your back, but if you don't have good lighting in your house, right now I'm using a light. If I didn't have this light, it would be terrible lighting. Face your window and use the light coming in and prop up your phone or selfie and use that natural lighting. I'm seeing a lot of photos, and we're focusing a ton right now on social media, hence why I'm bringing this up, where we're not helping ourselves. So use natural light. It's amazing. Okay, carry on now. All right, let's introduce Natalie. So Natalie is within Liz's downline as well, and her and I have always been attracted to each other because we really have that grit and hustle. And when she was pregnant with Mara, is it Mara, right? Mara, yeah. She's going to be 6 months this week. I can't believe it. But I was really excited to learn from Natalie as she went through this transition of becoming a new mom. I knew she was still going to hit elite, which is so amazing. And so I really do look up to her of course, even before the baby. But now I just think it's absolutely mind-blowing what she's been able to do while being pregnant and having her new baby. So Natalie is a 2-time elite coach. She's ranked number 145. She is a Success Club 10 legend. And for new coaches, if you're not sure what that means she's hit Success Club 10 for 24 months or longer. I'm pretty sure it's probably almost going on 3 years now. Brand new mommy, and she's been a coach 3 years this February. So I've asked her to kind of share her heart and honest heart with us about anything that has to do with time management and how she's found success with that. So it's all yours.
Hello, good to see everybody. Okay, so my life is obviously so much different now. You're never going to see me looking all cute and put together like Colleen, because mom life is real and we just don't have time for that anymore. So time management, right? It's you pick and choose your day and what's important to you. And what's important to me is keeping my daughter happy, spending time with her, and obviously this business. So I'm going to talk a lot tonight about my transition into motherhood. Do we have any moms on the call? A lot of mamas. Okay, so I know for some this might not relate, but my hope is that you can take bits and pieces from it and kind of use this in your life in other senses, other ways to kind of, use your time and split your time, because there's a lot of us, that we have multiple passions, whether, you love doing this business, but you love doing other things and you're just struggling with the time to make this a priority. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is write this down, that love has limitless capacity. And we will go back to that in a little bit, but I just want you to kind of sit on that for a minute, that love has limitless capacity. I will say that, what Colleen said about, following me through my pregnancy, and I made it look so easy. Well, that's great. But everyone asked me, as I was approaching my due date, as I was approaching that, time where I was going to transition into actually holding my baby and being a mom, it was like, people are like, what are you going to do? Because I work full time as a coach, and people are like, what are you going to do for maternity leave? And are you taking time off? And my answer was always like, yes, no, I had prepared, I had set up people to take over my team calls. I had my coach calendar. Everything was in place. My team was ahead of the game. I made sure that I was constantly checking in, but I knew that I would need that transition time just because I wouldn't have, I didn't know what to expect. But more than anything, like, this business has just become such a part of my heart that the part of me that was saying no, is that I'm not taking time off, was because I knew if I stepped completely away from this was the one thing that continued to make me feel like myself throughout the journey of pregnancy. It was the one thing that I could still hang on to, that was the Natalie before she started to grow a belly and before she became a mom. So as I'm transitioning and as I'm growing and my body's changing and I have all these different hormone, things and everything's happening, this is my constant, because everything around me, my body, everything around me is completely transforming. So I knew that I didn't want to let that go. What I think is really important, no matter where you are in your life, is what makes this business so great is the transparency of it all, and being able to share openly and not being scared of being judged. And I know in the mom community, it's like we are frowned upon if we want to do anything in our lives but be the best moms that we can be. And one thing I want to say is, like, don't be nervous to talk about that. Don't be nervous if you want to be a kick-ass mom, but you also want to be a kick-ass business owner. Okay. Don't be nervous if you're feeling like, you have the baby blues or a little postpartum depression or something, like anything in your life, right? If you're feeling anxious about something in your life, I think the more honest you can be with yourself about it, the more connected and, that you can also be with your business. I took a lot of notes because mom brain is real. So I said here, what I'm learning communicating with other moms especially, is that I'm not the only one having those guilt pains. That, now my daughter is almost 6 months old. She's completely alert. She knows when mommy's on her phone. She tries to grab it. She knows when mommy's on the computer. She tries to slap my computer screen, right? And it's that constant struggle. I don't have help. I'm a military wife. I'm all the way in Florida. My family's all the way in West Virginia. It's just me and my husband, and most of the time I'm a single parent because of his job. So it's literally like I am multitasking all day. I'm fitting in what I can fit in. And then when she goes to bed at night, it's up to me to make that sacrifice to step away from my husband and come in here and work my business. Let's see. So I guess the thing that I would say with that is kind of starting to look, instead of letting that guilt set in to where like you feel guilty that you're away from your baby or not spending time with her. It's for me, it's just looking at it saying, okay, my baby is my reason. My baby isn't my excuse. I want her to look back one day and truly be able to understand and know like how much I sacrificed and how much what I was able to create for her, in hopes that it will inspire her one day to be that positive, empowering woman to her family and to her kids. So we have to understand this, guys. Yeah, exactly. So we have to understand that life existed before kids. It existed before, whatever big life change you're going through. Your life existed before that big life change. And one thing, especially for me to understand, is like after your baby's here, life's still going to exist after them too. So after that big life change that you go through, life is still going to exist after that too. I'm going to be honest and tell you, I struggled with baby blues. I think I even might have, and I might still be a little bit struggling with, I don't know if it's postpartum depression. I'm not sad. I'm able to talk about it, but there's a part of me every day where I'm just like, man, I feel like I've completely lost my identity sometimes. So for me, I'm grateful for Beachbody because I feel like it's given me the tools to be able to openly overcome that. It's given me that positivity aspect. It's let me use health and fitness as an outlet. It's let me use personal development as a way to grow. It's let me connect with other people and feel confident about the struggles that I'm going through and being able to talk with people about that. I recommend it. I recommend if you're going through something to where you feel like you're just holding your back. And let me just stop for a minute and say this. I feel like that so many people get kind of like paralyzed in this business because they're not living their truth. There's something that's holding you back, and it's usually some type of internal something, whether, like I said, you're dealing with the baby blues, or you're dealing with anxiety, or you're dealing with depression, or you're dealing with something. If you're not able to find a way to overcome that and to practice overcoming that and to look at how to resolve and live better, then you're going to struggle in this business, because this business is all about challenging you to truly become the best person that you can become. So if you're not open to doing that, you're not going to be able to help other people, because you're not ever going to truly be able to help yourself. And unless your cup's full, guys, we know this, you can't serve others, right? So my biggest truth, I think, for being a mom and going through this baby blues and things like that, I had to recently, I realized this because I'm going through social media. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And my biggest truth was unconvincing myself that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I literally go through posts and I find myself talking about and trying to attract people that want to stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom, be stay-at-home moms. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I've never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I have no desire to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be a work-from-home mom who has the freedom that if I want to walk in the other room and see my baby, or if I want to take the day off, or if I want to take her somewhere, or if there's huge milestones in her life, I never want to miss those. Okay? So there's a huge difference there. And I was losing my identity because a stay-at-home mom, and if there's anybody on this call that wants to be a stay-at-home mom, God bless you. But this is not for me. I do not want to be just somebody that is just tending to my child all day long. I want to feel purpose in my life other than being her mother. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So like I said, I went back and I really evaluated my posts. I really kind of talked to myself, and I really made sure that I was being true to who I was. Who am I? What do I want in my life? And how is this business able to serve that purpose? And then how can I go to work on making that happen? So back to what I said in the beginning, love has limitless capacity. Love, and I'm about to get like really cheesy with you guys, but this is truly how I feel. Like, love is overflowing. There is no measurable size. Okay. So truly understanding this concept and understanding that there's limitless capacity, that it's overflowing, that there's no measurable size. Like, you cannot measure the amount of love that somebody can give. Understanding this is why I can continue my mission as a coach. When my mindset began to take hold of this, and then all of a sudden I stopped worrying about if my business is detracting from my family, or if I'm not being a good mom, or, you know, all of that mom guilt that we have, I can stop doing that because I know that love has limitless capacity. And I'm going to keep going back to that, and it's really going to make sense in the end. And yeah, guys, I use love for business, okay? I use the word love for business because let me just kind of paint you a picture. I started this business because I wanted to create something and bring it to life. That's kind of like a baby, right? My business is kind of like my baby in a way because, you know, sometimes it keeps me up at night. Sometimes it makes me cry, but I'll never stop loving it. It's a piece of me. I love my business. So, you know, I get to raise it and nurture it and do all those things. So my point with all of this is that love all that you can. Love your business, love your family, love your children, love your blouse, your shirt, right? You might love something more than others, which makes you prioritize more than others, and that's okay. But what you have to understand is it doesn't mean you love something less. The more you allow yourself to love, the more is available for you to give. And that's my point with all of this, is the more that you allow yourself to love, the more you have available to give. That concept has changed everything for me because it allows me to continue working my business. It allows me to have benchmarks and guidelines in my sacrifices. I don't need to sit here and spend time telling you guys how to make a monthly marketing plan. I don't need to sit here and tell you guys how to be good at time management. It all comes down to your heart and what's a priority for you and what you love and what you want to make happen in your life. Okay? Being a mom is probably the best thing that has ever happened to me. But I cannot forget that there is so much more that I love. Okay? And that's okay. It's okay to love other things because the more that I love, all being a mom has done for me is make me realize that I can open my heart to so much more. That I can open my heart to other things to love. So love is strength, guys. It allows choice. It's the strength that also gets us up in the middle of the night 50 times when our kid is crying and wants fed. It is the thing that gets us through really hard months in business. It's the thing that creates us or gives us the will to not give up, right? So it's such a powerful word. And I think that, you know, what I realized growing a business is that growing a business on something that brings me joy, I'm showing my daughter that work doesn't have to be a negative thing. I'm showing my daughter that, you know, by showing Mara how to follow my passion and how to work hard and how to prioritize and how to sacrifice. And by showing her that I can create something wonderful, I'm hopefully instilling in her what she's going to be capable of doing in her life. I hope that what I'm teaching her is I'm showing her what's possible for her. So I guess another thing that I want to say is like a good point that I guess I could bring to this topic and this call is that screw balance. Okay. So chasing balance, you guys, is like chasing happiness. It's one of those things where it's like you think there's an end point, but you're never going to get there. Because when I think of balance, I think of like, I don't know, like I'm holding two sandbags and I'm trying to like evenly like hold them, right? Like that's impossible. That's exhausting. So when people like, when they sit there and they say that like I have to separate work from life, like that work-life balance, and I want to be like, but isn't work a part of your life? Isn't it all one thing? So what if you see work, like you can't see work and family as separate. You can't have two separate buckets. So the way I see it is, I think of it as like one big, wonderful bucket, one big love bucket. And yeah, it might be a chaotic bucket because now there's a ton of shit in it. There's my work stuff, there's my family stuff, there's my activities, there's all this stuff. But what it allows me to do is prioritize quicker and with more flexibility. I'm not wearing myself out because I filled up my family bucket today, but my work bucket is overflowing, right? I found the balance in that one bucket because I'm prioritizing what's most important to me in that day. So I love having one big bucket because, yeah, I might not get my list of Beachbody work done, but I'm equally present in every area of my life, so I can lay my head down at night and know that I feel good about the day. I feel good about what I just accomplished. So why separate it, right? And I used to struggle with that when I first became a mom 6 months ago. I'm like, how am I going to balance this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? There is no balance. Literally, take away separating your life. It's all one thing. Everything is part of your life. Work, business, babies. It's all one thing. So put it in all one bucket, prioritize your day, and figure out what's most important to you, what you need to get done in that moment. Am I making sense? Okay, cool. So do you guys have any questions specifically? Because I'm more of like a Q&A type of person. I would really love to know questions. I don't have any clue what's going on in the chat.
We're loving it. We're loving it.
Okay, good.
Can I say a couple things while I think of questions? That's kind of usually how we do it. And then
Yep.
All right. So guys, think of any questions you have for Natalie. She has a 2-time elite team. It can be mom stuff. It can be non-mom stuff, whatever it is that you want to ask Natalie.
Yeah, and we can get strategic. If you guys want to talk business, we can do that. Like, I'm open to that. I feel like time management calls, like, they more just need to have a purpose and a reason. And I think if you guys can truly attach like your reason for this business and like really be in tune with that, then there's no reason why this shouldn't be a priority in your life.
And it's funny because so I've worked with different mentors, right? I work with mentors that are like, you need a bit, like Melanie Mitro's like the queen of schedules. The reason why we don't have a team schedule is because I don't use them, but they sent the captains this whole team cup strategy. And I'm like, I know there's people on the team who need this strategy. So I'm doing it for those kind of people. And so I've learned that some people don't need the schedule. Some people do, but I'm kind of with Natalie on this where here's my best tip for time management. Cause I had 2 messages this week actually from the new coach training about time management. Here's my answer. You need to look at your schedule for your week. You can look at it at the month if you want. I think that's a little intense. And you need to know what are the must-do priorities. If you guys have read Eat That Frog before, this is kind of that, but breaking it down into your actual planner. Okay, so for example, whoa, that's my light. The things in my planner written out are my must-dos, like cannot miss. So you're going to have yours. And then basically on these slots, I'm filling in the B priorities. What's next? My workout. If I don't get my workout done by 12 or 1 o'clock, it's probably not happening. So then I don't physically write it in because I don't need to do that. But if you're someone who's like, oh, my buckets are overflowing, maybe that will help you. So you're going to schedule in your workout. Guys, saying you don't have time to do PD is like saying I don't give a shit. Pretty much. You have time to crawl into bed, so you're going to sit in bed for 5 to 10 minutes, or you're going to wake up in the morning. And so just start scheduling out these pockets of your schedule. And guys, that's time management. It's just looking at your schedule and being like, okay, what am I going to do? And here's the other thing. I made a video about this yesterday. If Saturday is open for you and that's your day off with your family, that's your day off, because if you work another job, that's your day off with your family. And you use that time and you fill your cup. And then come Sunday, you got to put in a little work. And then Monday, Tuesday, and like when you come back to Saturday though, like Sean and I take Mondays off and that is our day together. And it has to fill my cup for the majority of the week because I'm in this office and my door is closed. So you have to get really good at filling that cup and really good at working your butt off so you can have more freedom to spend time with your family. Okay?
I will say, like, with experience from transition from like going to like working this business full time, literally sitting at a desk all day, having all of the freedom in the world. And I look back to like 6 months ago and I'm like, what the hell did I do with my day? But now that I'm a mom and like literally it consumes every part of my life and I just have to fit this in when I can. I'm a planner girl. I'm a schedule girl. I'm the calendar girl. I'm like the next thing to Melanie Mitchell. Like, I love systems. I'm all organized. But when it comes to just like me trying to transition into motherhood and just figure this out, what I do is I like every night I go to bed and I tell myself what needs to be done tomorrow and I make a running list. And then I also have like the notes section up on my computer at all times. And I'll like have like a monthly list, like, oh, this doesn't need done today. I'll throw it on that list. And then every week I evaluate that list and I start checking things off, like what can I get done? So it's just literally finding ways, like Colleen said, that work for you. And it's definitely finding a way every day to do something that's going to benefit you. And for me, it's personal development and exercise, which is what makes this business so freaking cool, because we literally get to put ourselves at the top of the list, you know? So that for me is always number one. And then the rest of the day is truly like what needs to get done, you know, with as far as like being a parent, as far as what needs done around the house, what needs done in my business. And then, like I said, a list, no set time, and then just cross it off as I go.
And I want to say one thing before we go to Lacey's question, because it's been on my mind and I feel like it's like perfect timing. And you guys are going to freaking die for our team call next Wednesday. I worked really hard in the presentation. I'm excited for it. It's teaching you guys how to tell your story. And I posted this question as a pop quiz in my personally sponsored coach page, and no one answered today, which is fine. But I want you guys to think, how do you stand out from every other Beachbody coach? And it's like 2 words. So think about that for a second. And then think about how when you guys are like managing your time, overcoming these challenges and overcoming obstacles, you have to be able to teach other people how to do that, right? We're basically teaching people. Natalie is teaching people how she transitioned, how she overcame this breakthrough of like, all right, game on. I'm a new mom now and I'm overcoming, and she's having these breakthroughs of like the example of the buckets, right? And so that is why it is so important for you to overcome challenges so that you can teach other people how to do that. That's pretty much what we do for a living. Mm-hmm. And then what do you guys think helps you guys stand out from everyone else? 2 words. I'm so curious to see if anyone catch up. Close. Exactly, your story. So if you're like, oh, well, I don't have a story, you so do. If you're in debt, if you're kind of feeling the blues today, if you're not happy with your physique, if you're struggling with time management, claim it, own it. And the reason I brought that up is because when Natalie said that Beachbody gave her this identity, Beachbody helped her have those breakthroughs, that's your story. And if you can pass that on to other people with the intimate details, not just like, oh, I feel great, did my workout. How did you feel great when you did your workout? Okay. Anyway, moving on. So Lacey had a question for you. Being in the first trimester, any tips that has worked for you personally? She's struggling to fight being tired.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess so I'm super competitive. I'm like, it's weird. I'm crazy. I have this, like, I'm super shy and reserved and blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes, I'm like that duck that's calm on the surface and like swimming like hell underwater. So when I got pregnant, how long has Lacey been a coach?
She's recently actually dove into coaching, hit Success Club in January and things like that.
Okay, awesome. So she's newer. I'm just going to tell this story anyway. So I had already kind of been developed as a coach. People knew me as like a health and fitness coach, somebody that, you know, made their health a priority. So when I became a coach, literally, I mean, when I got pregnant, you would think I would get like tons of congratulations, but I got tons of these moms coming out of the woodworks, like telling me that like, you're never going to get your body back. And like, oh my gosh, pregnancy is so hard. You're going to be so tired. You're so this, you're so that. And it's like this naggy, annoying, like so negative. And I was just like, I just went in game mode in that moment. And I was like, no, this isn't happening. People say that you're too tired to your first trimester. Watch me. I'm going to be the one that's too tired, but still getting up to work out every day. And it's truly just a mindset thing. And what's cool about it is like you have that opportunity, Lacey, to like be that example, to show people what's possible. But what's also cool about it is you can also show people how to listen to your body. So maybe some days through the first trimester, you're not able to go hardcore and do crazy things, but you're going to get down on the floor and you're going to do some yoga and you're going to do some breathing exercises and you're going to fuel your body amazing because you are so passionate about what's growing inside of you and you want to give your baby the most nutrients that you possibly can and you give it the best pregnancy that you possibly can. I used that stuff as my motivation and I used the outside noise of people telling me that this was going to be rough for me as motivation. And yes, I was tired. I napped every single day, but I still made my exercise a priority because I felt so much better when I was done. I wish Mason was in here right now because there was points every day I would literally look at him and cry like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, Natalie, get your ass in the gym and go work out. And I would walk out of the gym and I'd be like, I feel great. So literally just do it. And just be that example. Just show people what's possible because that's really an empowering thing as well. And if your brain is everywhere, that's normal. I don't know if this is your first baby or not. My brain's still everywhere and I already had her. Write everything down. I couldn't remember like what color the sky was. So write everything down. Carry a planner with you. Use your notes section of your phone. Write everything down. Any idea you have for a post, write it down because it's probably going to be gone within like 10 seconds. I hope that's helpful.
And it's like you basically just said what I was just saying, right? Breakthroughs. So Lacey, you're so tired first trimester. How are you going to teach other moms that are maybe they're not even pregnant, but that they're so tired? What's going to be your breakthrough? And it doesn't have to be smashing Insanity Max 30. It can be, hey, here's what I did do.
Yep.
When Janelle had her groin injury, when I was sick, we had to find alternatives. You have these breakthroughs. And if the universe puts these things in our life so that we can be life transformers for others. Otherwise, it was just, this easy path where we don't have any life changes and things like that. So was there another question there?
How do you help I want to make sure I didn't miss any, Lacey. How do you help your coaches stick to their time blocks of working the business when they are working another job? I put the ball in their court. And when they come into coaching, I really want to know right off the bat, like what their expectations are with the business. Are they, why are they here? Are they income driven? Are they people driven? Like what's going to drive them every day? I ask those questions. I'm like, how much time are you willing to put into this with your full-time job? Like what sacrifices are you going to make? Because clearly if you're going to do this on the side, with a full-time job, it's going to require some sort of sacrifice, whether you're going to stay up an hour later or get up an hour earlier or use your lunch break. Like I'm asking them because I want them to give me that accountability. I want them to tell me what they're willing to do. I have a coach that I just brought on 3 days ago. She works 70 hours a week as a pharmaceutical sales rep. And these were the questions, these were the series that I went through with her. And she literally, by the end of the conversation, I knew that she was very serious about building a business because she was sick of traveling as much. And if she could do this full time, that would be a dream for her. I knew that she was going to put an hour and a half a day into her business. And that was just something for me as her coach to be able to hold her accountable and make sure that I was giving her smart daily actionables, smart daily things that she could do to still move her business forward, giving her those non-negotiables that I think that really were important to plug in that power hour. I think it's all about they have to be here because they want to be here. And all we can do is inspire action by doing 10 times ourselves and showing people what's possible. So that would be my advice on that.
It's so funny that you say like the whole competitive thing, because that's how I feel about like because I'm not even pregnant yet, but I talk about it and people are always saying like, oh, you wait, your life's over when you have kids. And I'm like, no, my life's going to change. It's not going to be over.
Exactly. It's like, shush.
Any other questions I have one for you if no one else has any, but so let's kind of talk about Success Club for a second. When you have coaches that really want to hit Success Club, and I always ask this question on our calls, so everyone, I like to hear the answers. When you have a coach that like really wants to hit Success Club, and you help them with conversations, their social media is pretty good, they're being a product of the product. What are some things that you kind of give advice to a coach who's like just not quite making Success Club, but they seem to be showing up?
That's a really good question. I think we all struggle with that, honestly, because you just try to you try to figure out, where are they going wrong? So a big thing for me is asking them to send me conversations, because I could be giving them scripts, I could be walking them through it, but it could still be relayed to that person in a completely different way. Something that's really easy for me to see, being 3 years in the business, I can look at a conversation and go, I know exactly what went wrong. And I can coach her through that and say, you just gave too much information here, or you really just needed to add more value to this conversation, or maybe, and just kind of critiquing in a positive way and letting her know, not to get defeated about that, to go back and follow up with this and to move forward from that. Another thing for new coaches not hitting sorry, what was your question? I just want to make sure I'm.
No, yeah. I was just saying, if there's a coach that's really hey, I'm showing up, I want to hit Success Club, we're kind of looking at some things. If there's anything else that you look at to make sure that they're nailing it on the head to hit Success Club.
Yeah, I think it's all about being Success Club for me is sticking with, I think Bonnie Ingalls says this all the time, phase one. Just staying in phase one, constantly being a challenger, constantly showing up every day and sharing part of you. Because if you get away from that at all, I think that's when Success Club gets really hard, because people don't really understand all the fluff yet. So, but if you can stay true to your story and talk about your transformation and talk about, whether it's mental, physical, whatever it may be, if you can just keep people on that journey every single day and allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to where you can connect with people, it's going to make your conversations that much more real, which is going to make people trust you that much more, which is going to make your Success Club numbers increase that much more, because now you're developing real relationships with people who really trust and value you and really want to work with you. So I guess, I think Colleen's really good with you guys about always looking back at your social media and kind of seeing, am I really surface level here, or am I actually talking about things that are actually changing in my life? I think, I'm so completely transformed from Beachbody. I can't even imagine where I'd be right now without it. Weight, mental, financial, everything, that I oftentimes, just because I've been doing this so long, I forget to share that kind of stuff. People just see me on social media, just living it up, because I've just been doing it so long. So it was really cool for me actually to just have the transformation again, to go back, being pregnant and getting to lose that 50 pounds that I gained, and to go through that all again, because it really brought me back to remembering where I started and how I felt in those moments, and on days I was super defeated, and how I overcame them, and ways I wanted to grow and improve, right? So I think that kind of stuff we have to remember is what people are usually dealing with. And I think if you can touch on those touch points always in your social media, that's also going to up your chances. Kathy Reuter said last night on a call that I co-ran with her, she said that she has lists. And one of her lists is a running list of objections. So anytime that she's talking to a prospect and they have a fear about something, or anytime a new coach has a fear about something, or anytime anybody tells her no about something and they give her a reason why, she literally has a list of running objections, so that she can always refer to this list to make sure that she's talking about one of those objections at least once or twice a week in her social media posts. It really could, because chances are if somebody's having that fear, somebody else is having that fear, which could stop a lot of times from people signing up with you with the challenge pack, or could, answer those Shakeology questions, or could answer the coach opportunity questions, if you're constantly nailing down those objections publicly.
I think that's the best one is, and that's why Bonnie says practice what you talk about in private publicly. It has to be both, and here's my tip for that question, because I've seen it a lot. So I love that you guys have been sharing your conversations in our team, in our training. But here's the thing. Remember that whole presentation that I did, and I told you guys what I tell people? Your conversations are not matching up to something similar. I don't expect you to use my words. If you're working from your phone, it's difficult. You really can't sit down and have a 10-minute conversation with someone leaving an impression. I mean, I'm really good with my thumbs and I use voice messages. But guys, if you're at work and you're multitasking and someone's like, hey, how much is the all access challenge pack? And you're like, $199 because you're busy. that's not good. Okay. So you've got to take a step back. And if you can't get to them right then, and maybe you're going to do it before you go to bed or in the morning or later on, like I suggest a keyboard. If you're working from your phone, it's fine. Get a little wireless keyboard. But just remember, I have to change this person's life. They're asking me questions about how can I help them. Got to leave that impression on them. And that's why I gave you guys the scripts in case you kind of struggled with that. But I'm seeing the short answers, and that's why I feel like, and I'm not saying you have to write a novel, but you have to do more than, it's $1.99.
Yeah, and guys, I think too is like, if you're like really serious about Beachbody and this business and creating something with it, I think it's like the best thing that you can do is like listen to what people are saying and actually let that process in your brain. You hear people talk about Success Club all the time. You hear how they say that Success Club is what's going to make a successful coach. It's literally the building block of this business. So to me, and how I thought as a new coach is like, well, shit, I better hit this because that's important. So I just went to work on studying, like, how can I master conversations? How can I master relationship building? I understood that there was no shortcuts in hitting Success Club. You truly had to put in the work. So I made sure that the work that I was putting in, I was teaching myself valuable information. I was giving valuable information. I was receiving valuable information. I was investing fully in my challenge group so that I could help people get amazing results, so I could get referrals for months to come. Everything that I do is based upon Success Club because I know how important that is in every aspect. It's important because our job is to help people. Well, if you have challengers, you're helping people, aka you hit Success Club. Those challengers could literally change your life, who could turn into successful coaches on your team. It's literally this full cycle. So if you're on this call and you're struggling with Success Club, it's really about just getting real with where you need to improve and then studying that and working on that and finding a success partner or somebody on your team that you really value and saying, you want to role play with me for a second here? Let me talk to you, and let me get these nerves off my chest because I have this fear with talking to people or whatever it may be. Practice. And then, it's just, you go from there, and I promise it becomes easier. But the biggest thing is like, always self-evaluate. If you're one of those coaches at the end of the month, and I've been there, that's like, man, I did everything I could, but really you look back and if you track your business, which is huge, and you only had like 10 conversations the whole entire month, you got to be real with yourself. That's why you didn't hit Success Club. This is totally a numbers game. You have to be in your inbox. You have to be communicating with people. You have to be building new relationships. You have to be consistent on social media and sharing your story. And if you are all of those things every single day, 365 days a year, you're going to build that momentum in your business, and it's never going to be an issue for you. I can say, like, I had such an incredible month in December. Like, I hit one of the highest Success Club I have. It's because I busted my butt. But guess what, guys? I didn't put in that type of work in January. And you know what? I'm going to pay for that in March and April. You watch. I am going to have a hard time in March and April because of the lack of consistency I had in building conversations in January. And I know that. I've been around for 3 years. So don't expect all of the hard work that you put in this month. It's going to get you in Success Club. You're going to have those few people that say yes right away, but know that all of your hard work and all of those people you're connecting with, that's going to be your May, June, July, August, September. So keep that in mind every single month as you go through, that what you're doing is not building for that specific month. You're building for months ahead. Don't make my mistakes.
Yep, that's what happened to me in August. I only missed Success Club once in my career, Success Club 4, and I will never do that again.
Yeah, totally.
All right, any last minute questions before we let Natalie go? I don't want to take up too much of her time. No? All right, well, thank you so much, Natalie. It was so nice hearing from you. I miss you.
Great to see you. I can't wait to have you return the favor.
Yes, I feel like I don't know if your team struggles with any storytelling or any of that, but the presentation I'm doing for next week is really awesome. So need any help, let me know.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
All right, guys, have a good night. I will share the recording in the team page. See you later.